Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Michael Simpson, the founder and senior instructor for the National Commercial Real Estate Association with you here today. Going to share with you today on this video 5 things you need to do first to succeed in commercial real estate. Why is that important to you? I'm guessing it's important to you because most of my audiences, it's extremely important. I'll ask them, I'll say, hey, what stops you from going out and getting all the commercial investment business starting tomorrow that you would like to get? And one of the most common things is, well, I just don't know what to do. So the 5 things you need to do: number 1, have a plan. Number 2, set up a calendar. Number 3, get some help, accountability or some guidance. Number 4, know the market you're going into. And number 5, know what you're going to say and know what you're going to, how you're going to go about it. Okay, those are the 5 things. So let's break those down. So number 1 is have a plan. You need to kind of have a general idea how you're going to go after whatever it is that you're going after. And what are you going to go after? Right? I mean, obviously we need to have a general idea of what that is. And so I've got systems. Everything for me is systemized. Systems and processes. Systems save yourself time, energy, and money. That's what a system stands for. Save yourself time, energy, and money. System. And it looks kind of like this. And I realize that this is not very clear for you to see, and it's backwards when I'm doing this, but you can kind of get the general idea. Systems, save yourself time, energy, and money. And what you're looking at here is 4 systems that I put together for my commercial investment business. When I was in residential real estate, I did 100 deals a year. Everything was systemized. And then I started getting into commercial real estate and said, hey, where are the systems for this? And there really weren't any systems in place at all. So I just started putting systems in place as fast as I could for the commercial space. And what you're looking at here is you're looking at 4 systems: a grid system, an internet system, a sphere and referral system, and a market of the moment. And these systems I'm going to put together so that they're driving leads to me so I can have conversations on a daily basis, 6 to 8 conversations on a daily basis. And when we have systems in place, these things happen automatically without us, right? So, who stops us from having all the business we want in our lives? It's us. So we take ourselves out of the equation, get out of our own way, and automate it. And that's what these systems do. And just to kind of finish this, and again, I apologize it's backwards like this, but grid systems for listings and sellers, on the market, off the market, pocket listings. Internet, what do you think we get mostly from the internet? Yeah, buyers. So I use these 2 systems to double in my transactions. And then sphere and referral system is an automated way of getting referrals sent to you on a regular basis. And the 4th system is market of the moment. So, we're changing that system depending on what's going on in the marketplace. When it's a seller's market, maybe it is a marketing system or press release system. And then as markets shift, maybe it becomes expireds and REOs and short sales. We basically can put systems. I have systems that I put in place for every single source of getting listings that is out there. And this is what I'm talking about when I say have a plan and set up a plan of attack. Okay, so let's just say that it is the grid system. Let's just hone in on this grid system and say that you're going to set up a grid system. Okay, so one of the things that I do just for that one system is I'm going to go at it with a plan. So I'm going to set up a grid system, and I'm going to go after my grid system, which I don't have time right now to get into the whole process of the grid system with you guys right now and what it is. But basically, it's a system of going after sellers' listings, and we do it by equity. So we find sellers that are sitting on equity because the return on equity concept that I talk about in my training events talks about how their return on equity is diminishing return on equity. And what happens when they're sitting on a bunch of equity is their return is diminishing. So you're going to have to take some trainings online or go to one of my live training events to really understand that in detail. But I put people that are sitting on equity in a CRM, a customer relations management system, and then I go after them. I dissect them, and that's what's called a grid. And I go after them, not asking them to sell, but I consult and give items of value. And when I go after them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these pillars. So here's 5 pillars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I apologize it's backwards like this, but I'm going to use the calls, doors, marketing, commercial investment, networking events, and then doors. Those are social media. So calls, doors, marketing, commercial investment seminars, and then social media. These are the 5 pillars that I use to go after my grid. Now, do I go after them using all 5 of these pillars right away? No. Each one takes time. So I'm going to start with one and then build it and then get it running and working. And then I'm going to go into the second one, build it, get it running and working, and the third one, and so on and so forth. But this is what I'm talking about. This is a plan. This is a specific strategy just for that grid system alone. Now, if it's the internet system that I showed you, it's a whole new strategy and a whole different plan. Depending on what the system is that we're using, depends on our strategy and our approach. So this is an example of having a plan and having a way of going after and going out there and getting our business that is really specific. So when we have more time, I'll get more into that with you and how we do those things, okay? And the approach that you use for each particular system and process. A lot of times when I'm talking to somebody live or on one-on-one, y'all say, hey, what are you strong at? What are you really good at? Some people are great at calls. Some people are great at doors. Some people are great in person. They're, social people. So some people are really good at social media. So depending on their strengths, I'm going to say, let's start with that. Don't try and do everything all at one time, because then we get overwhelmed and it all comes crashing down and we never get anywhere with it. So just start with one, get it going. Just take one thing at a time and one step at a time with this. And that's how we do this. The second thing is calendar. You want to put together a calendar and a plan for going after the the system that you are building, or the target audience that you're going after. How often do you say, oh, well, hear somebody say, oh, yeah, I've been meaning to do that, or one of my goals is, well, okay, yeah, and I'm going to do that tomorrow, okay? When tomorrow, what time, and for how long are you going to work on that, right? Get specific. I did a video recently called, Can I Do Both Commercial Real Estate and Residential Real Estate at the Same Time? And when in that video there, I pulled out my time blocking, and I showed you on that video how you actually do time blocking and where you're putting in slots and all of that. So go back to that video and you'll see how I'm actually using my time blocking to calendar, okay? But it's a real important step. I don't mean to minimize it. It's extremely important that you're time blocking and that you have a calendar, and then you're sticking to that calendar and you're focusing on that calendar. That's real important, because again, otherwise if we just say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, we never actually get around to it. So calendar is probably one of the most important things, and time blocking. That's number 3. Number 4 is going to be get some help, get some accountability, get some guidance. When I first started in real estate, I latched onto the number 1 agent in my office and said, I'll be a sponge, tell me how to do this. And that's why I was Rookie of the Year. When I did 100 deals a year, I had a coach that was helping me along the way and showing me how to do these things and break through barriers. Then when I got into commercial real estate, I had a mentor and a coach that was showing me and guiding me. Gosh, I couldn't imagine not having that and trying to figure it out all on our own. Then when I opened up my franchises in real estate, I didn't know how to open up a franchise. I didn't know how to operate franchises. I was a real estate agent. I was good at that, but I didn't know how to manage and operate a business with 600 agents like we built. So I got coaches. I got the best in the business who were succeeding at the highest level, and I said, show me how you do this, and I'll be a sponge. And then today, as a speaker and trainer, I've got 2 coaches as I stand here today. You don't have to try to figure everything out on your own. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel over and over again. People have gone before you. So find somebody who's already doing what you want to do and just go follow what they say. Get some help, get some accountability. Oh, Michael, they want 50% of my deal. They want such a big chunk of my commission. I hear this all the time. Well, what's 100% of nothing? It's nothing. How often do you think real estate agents go out and try to do a commercial deal on their own because they don't want to share, they don't want to split the commission, they don't want to pay somebody to help them? And how often do you think they go out and they fail? What do you think those numbers are out of 10? It's probably 9.5. It's probably every single time that happens, they fail and they lose a deal. Guys, in this world, in this space, when we're talking about losing a deal, think about the numbers. You know, the numbers of these types of transactions. Let's just say if it's only $1 million deal. If it's only $1 million deal and it's a 2.5% commission, that's $25,000. So when we say, oh, I don't want to share it, or I don't want to pay somebody $5,000, $10,000, $12,000 to show me, I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. We're losing big, massive numbers, and we lose that client that could come back and do business with us over and over and over again. It's not like this residential client that is probably going to buy a house and then not really do anything for a while. These guys and gals, they buy and sell over and over again. So we're not talking about losing one deal here. We're talking about losing potentially 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deals. So take 25,000 times 10, and that's $250,000 now that we're talking about losing. So you don't want to lose this stuff. You want to convert, you want to be highly effective, and you want to convert every time you get the opportunity, because the numbers are so big. And in order to do that, can you really do it all on your own? No, you can't do it all on your own. You know, at some point, there's going to be a point where we need help. You can know everything there is to know about commercial real estate, but at some point, there's going to be something that comes up that you don't know. And you know, that's one of the things I really love about this business, is there's always something new for me. I've been at it almost 30 years now, and it's always something, wow, I didn't know that. You know, I love that about the business. But it doesn't make sense for me to say, oh, well, when I don't know, I'm going to figure it out on my own, or I'm not going to learn that. That doesn't make any sense. So go out, get some help, get some guidance, and have somebody showing you along the way how you can do this. And then you want to know the market that you're going into. Obviously, whenever I go on a listing appointment, whether it's residential or commercial, because I still do both, and I focus really on listings only. When I go on an appointment, I'm going to pull up everything, okay? So whether it's a residential listing appointment or whether it's a commercial listing appointment, I'm going to pull up everything around it, just in the general, certainly on that block and on that street. Because whenever somebody says, hey, do you know about that property that's for sale or just sold next door? It could be, you know, I could be on a commercial listing appointment, it could be a house. Or it could be, I could be on a residential listing appointment and it could be a commercial warehouse or whatever. But as soon as I say, no, I don't know, well, now all of a sudden, you know, I've lost a little bit of credibility, frankly. So I like to pull up everything around the area, specifically on that block, and go in with it at least in my hand or in my bag, so that if it comes up, I can say, oh yeah, I just looking at that the other day, you know, and go over it with them and give them a little bit of information. It keeps you knowledgeable and in a position of power, frankly. So imagine if you called somebody or ran into somebody or knocked on their door or walked in their office and they said to you, hey, can you tell me about the property that just popped up for sale around the corner, and it's a warehouse that just popped up for sale with such and such company. If you don't know the answer to that, it's probably not going to be very helpful to you. So you really want to know the market, and you want to understand what's available for sale and what's sold recently. You don't have to know all the information, but just basic information about the cap rates, the prices, cost per door, the general information in the area. How do you do it? Well, you pull up MLS, and we know that MLS does not have a lot of commercial properties in there, but it's a source for you. You can use title company, and I understand that title company is not going to give us the income, so it's not going to help much with cap rates, but it's going to give you the price, the date it closed, the address, maybe some basic information on the property type, and you can begin to get a cost per square foot down in your head in the area. You can get a price cost per door in the area. You can get some basic things by using just title. And of course, if you have things like LoopNet, that's going to tell you what's on the market, and then things like CoStar and REIS, REIS for comps. You know, those tools are not free. They cost money, but if you have access to them, those are the tools we use to get data. So that's how you can go about learning and understanding what's on the market and what's sold. If you don't have the tools that cost money, then you just focus on the things that don't cost money for now, okay? Lead with revenue. Don't go out and subscribe to a bunch of things. I'm talking about this all the time. Lead with revenue. Go out, get some deals going, and then subscribe to some of these things. That's another reason why you should get help. Because there's people like me, there's people like us that will help you with the tools so that you don't have to go subscribe to them right now. And we can get you some basic information to get you going and get you some deals going. And then when you get some deals going, you can subscribe to things on your own. But you got to know the market. You can't, talk to people and start having conversations and meetings without knowing the marketplace. Okay. You want to know what to say. You don't want to call somebody or walk into an office and not know what to say, obviously. So call with purpose. Let's say that you are going after calls. Okay, so one of the pillars in there for going after the grid was calls. Well, when we call somebody, if you call and you say, hey, do you plan to sell sometime soon? I hear this all the time. Commercial brokers, common script. Hey, it's Michael. I just drove by your property and I was wondering if you plan to sell it sometime soon because I've got a buyer for you. Who's that about? Who's that about when we say, do you plan to sell anytime soon? It's really about them. I'm sorry, it's about us, right? It's about us when we're making that call that way. And that's not real effective. It's not the best way to approach it. The best approach that I've experienced has been consulting, where we give we're consulting instead of selling. Because when we're consulting, it's all about them first, and it's about us second. And my experience has been when I ask, I don't quite get as fast as when I give. When I give, I get back much, much faster. So my approach is consult and give, and then you get back faster. So when you're giving, how do you give to somebody on a phone call? Let's say, for example, well, we're calling with purpose. Number one, we're not just calling saying, hey, do you plan to sell? Because that's, again, not real effective. We're calling with a purpose. Getting back to knowing the market, if you've studied and you know the market, you'll begin to learn things about the market that you can talk to people about. Hey, you know what? I'm calling to let you know that we just sold, or our property just sold around the corner from you just yesterday, or a property just came up for sale just yesterday, and it's blah, 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 and this is the cap rate. We're giving instead of asking for the order all the time. So when we call with a purpose, it's about them instead of us. It's about them first. You could also use lease surveys, rent surveys, items of value, where we're calling and contacting them and giving them these things instead of asking. And this is just some really small examples, okay, of how you could consider giving and how you could consider calling with a purpose and going in there with a purpose. This is a little hard without spending more time on this. One of the things that I'm going to do in one of my other videos is scripts. So just specific scripts in videos. So look for those. Obviously it'll be called something like scripts. But just to give you like one easy script that has been working really well for myself and a lot of my coaching members is, let's say that I'm getting an area or I'm in a spot with some people where they don't want to list, but they say, hey, bring me a buyer. And if you've ever contacted commercial property owners on a regular basis or made a reasonable number of contacts, that a lot of things they say, a lot of times they'll say, hey, I'm not going to list, but if you bring me a buyer, okay? So when you're getting that, or you feel like you're going to be getting that, then a great way to get around that is something like this. Hey, it's Michael. I'm calling from the commercial division, and I wanted to let you know that we've got a lot of buyers that are looking for this type of property or these type of properties in your area, and I was wondering if you would be interested in entertaining an LOI, letter of intent, LOI. Okay, now that works really well. And who's that about, by the way? It's about them. So that helps. That works really well, and it's a great, simple, easy, straightforward script that you can use. Okay, just to give you something right now while you're watching this video. But again, I'm going to do some other videos on scripts that you can check out a little bit later. So those are the 5 steps. Just a bullet point. Have a plan. Set up a calendar and a time to knock it out, get it done, and then get some help. Don't be stubborn. Get some help, some guidance, and then know the market, that you're going into, know the numbers around you that you're going into, and then know how you're going to go about it, what you're going to say, and know your scripts and objections that are going to come up and how you overcome those objections. Some of my best clients, my best coaching members are really good at scripts and overcoming the objections that are thrown at them. They're really good at it, and that's one of the great reasons why they're having so much success, is because they're extremely good at that. So those are the 5 key things that are really important for you. Of course, I left out one of the most important things. It's really not one that's on the list, but it's certainly something you gotta consider, and that is taking action. You know, all this doesn't matter if we don't go out and do it. You got to get out there and get going and take action, and you will succeed in this business. I once saw a quote: if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. And I love it. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. All right, so hopefully this video was helpful for you guys today. Thanks for watching. As usual, you can go to our website and check out our other videos that we have, and podcasts, and our YouTube pages that we have out there for you, and get your unfair share. Go out there and get that unfair share. Thanks for watching, and make it a great day.